So we're live.
We are live.
We haven't done this in a week.
We're so bad.
Well, no, you've been busy.
Yeah, it's my finals and
your finals.
Huge projects to finish.
You made a book this week.
I made a book.
A hardcover book.
I made a hardcover book.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's got your artwork and poetry in it.
Yeah, it does.
Pretty incredible. So that's why we haven't done the show.
Yeah, plus 2 giant paintings.
Giant. And how big are those paintings?
They are 60 by 48.
60 by 48. Amazing.
Yes.
Those are big paintings.
They are.
Well, I'm glad we're back on it. And of course, a movie we've never seen before.
That's true.
Because I just got the Blu-ray. I did not get to see it. Actually, the 4K.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it on Blu-ray, but I have the 4K. And
was this released in theaters? No.
yeah, it was, but during the pandemic, so not a lot of people saw it. It had a big festival run.
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
How did it do?
It did well. People liked it. Did you not like it? We'll
You'll
talk
soon
about it.
Find out.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your sommelier of cinema, Robert Meyer Burnett. But something fell. You don't want to see me. You came to see this gorgeous creature right here. And who might you be?
I am Elysabeth Gwendolyn Belle, the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment.
The enchantress of entertainment. And I would say, is this movie enchanting?
I wouldn't call it enchanting.
You wouldn't?
No.
What would you call it?
Very violent.
Okay, well, this movie, and we watched it, I have to say, hang on. First of all, before you tell me, I'm going to shift the camera. Look at that. We got this, the new 4K HDR version of Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor. Now, for those of you who've watched this show a lot, we have watched his father's movies.
Yes, 3 of them.
We watched Videodrome.
Yes.
We watched The Fly.
Yes.
And we watched your favorite, Crash. That's what all guys want to see.
Oh, geez.
You said, come on, let's get to the wine, shall we? We have a nice Malbec, and this is Asado Cruz Malbec, Valle de Vaco, Mendoza, Argentina, 2019. You know, it's funny. I think I speak Spanish when I just say, "Hey, vessel," and then suddenly that's Italian and Spanish.
Oh.
That's how much I know. So, you know, this wine is not as red as the blood in this movie. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, I know. So, all right. Now, what would you, if someone said, Elysabeth, what genre is Possessor? Is it a science fiction film? Is it a horror film? What would you call the genre of film that Possessor is?
Yeah, I mean, I would say both of those.
Both of those. So it spans genres. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah? That's a one-word answer?
Well, because I feel like it was... I mean, the sci-fi part is being able to be in somebody else's body.
Okay, well, let's talk about this.
But it's about an assassin. So it's kind of a thriller, too. And what would you call movies about?
You've now cited this film. It spans multiple genres. It's a thriller. It's a sci-fi film. It's a horror film.
Yeah.
It could also be an interesting examination of sexuality, because you can be in the body of a man, and while you are having sex with a woman, as a woman.
Yeah, that would be an interesting experience.
And I gotta say, I mean, I would love it if I could be in the body of a woman having sex with a man just to know what it feels like. So then you could get better at what you do.
Exactly.
Wait, you don't think I'm good at what I do?
You're awesome, babe.
Okay, no, seriously, you don't have to say that. But there is definitely,
No, I'm like, it'd be so interesting to be in the body of a man.
Right.
And find out what that feels like.
Now, let's just get it right off your chest, your ample bosom. There's peen in this movie.
There's a lot of peen.
A lot of peen. Erect peen. peen.
Erect peen.
And I have to say, there's vajayjay too.
There's a lot of vajayjay.
There's some vajayjay. There's vajayjay and peen coupled with sci-fi, thriller, and horror elements.
Yeah, well, I mean, like father, like son. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but
Father
David
made
Cronenberg never went
crash.
full-on erect peen like
yeah,
he
I
does
never
in this.
saw peen.
I mean, you got peen at like
But,
at least
I mean,
90 degrees, not
they
maybe
were
not
getting
45
off
degrees.
on car crashes. Like, that's just as weird.
Yeah, but you never saw a erect peen.
No, you never did.
But in
because
this movie,
it
there's
was the 80s.
No, crashes 90s.
Okay,
just so you know.
90s, whatever.
Well, apparently, and by the way, this version of the movie we watched, there's two. This is, of course, as you would expect, the uncut version.
Oh, that's why we saw so much peen.
There's a lot of peen. Was it uncut peen? Did you notice?
It was, what? It was, what do you mean?
Cut or uncut?
It
Circumcised?
Was circumcised.
Okay, just checking.
All of them. All the peens.
All the peens
Because it
were
was
uncircumcised.
multiple peens. Not in the same scene,
It was
though.
Canadian. Anyway, let's get to the peen. Not right now. We're going to get back to it. So, this film, Brandon Cronenberg, it took him 8 years to make this movie. 8 years.
Wow.
Took a long time, yeah. Now,
8 years.
Now, what I love about this film, like his father, the names of the characters are names you've never heard in real life, or at least in this country. The name of the main character is Tasya Voss.
Tasya Voss.
Tasya Voss. Tasya Voss.
Oh, that's all one name.
No, it's Tasya.
Tasha.
Voss.
Tasha's a name.
No, Tasya, Tasya. Not Tasha, Tasya.
Tasha.
Which is probably a common
Tasya.
Ukrainian name. What do I know?
That's an interesting name.
So that's the name of our lady, our main character. And she works for Jennifer Jason Leigh, who starred in Cronenberg's Existence. And in a way, maybe she's playing her character from Existence now like 25 years later.
Can you lower that a little bit?
Oh, could be. She plays
No, the
Girder.
whole- yeah.
I understand what you want to say.
Oh,
I get it.
no.
Uh-oh.
That's not what I
I
meant.
I understand. I get it. Girder, she's... So, in my mind, this is a sequel to Existence. And in a way, it kind of is. So...
Oh, well, I never saw it, so I wouldn't know. It's a sequel to his father's film.
Well, not really, but you could say it is, because...
Well, like I said, like father, like son.
All right, so Tasya Voss is an assassin.
She's an assassin.
She's a mother, a wife,
Yeah.
and an assassin
And an
that works
assassin.
for a clandestine, super secret organization we
Yeah.
know nothing about, that Girder, Jennifer Jason Leigh, like heads up, and she's an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a unique assassin.
She is.
So how does she kill people?
So they have figured out how to enter someone's brain, basically, and control the body.
Right, and they have to insert something in the head,
They insert-
like a receptor
Yeah.
or something. The movie begins with a lovely black woman with dreadlocks. She drills something in her head.
Not dreadlocks. She has cornrows.
That's what I said. Cornrows. That's right. Right there in the frame. Fills up the frame.
Yeah.
Giant
so,
head.
Yeah, so she has to insert this thing in her brain, and it's got a dial on it. It's like wired to this dial that dials into the emotions. But they have to do this daily so that the assassin can remain in control.
Well, so what happens is they have Tasya Voss is at the clandestine super secret organization.
Yeah,
And she is put in a mechanism,
she is.
machine, that allows her to beam herself
Yeah, to be
into another person's body,
right.
and takes over their personality. So she
Right.
inhabits why they
She's
are...
the possessor.
She's the possessor of the title. For those of you who don't know, the movie is called Possessor, uncut. Very European.
Yeah.
Uncut. Peen.
Oh, but the peens are
so
cut.
the peens are cut, even though movie's uncut, the peens are cut. So anyway, so this woman possesses a lovely black woman with cornrows.
Yeah.
that has no idea what's happening to her. And what's so great...
But you don't know that at this point.
Well, but she knows something is happening to her because we see...
You do.
And by the
you
way...
see her put the little thing in
right,
her head.
but we also...
and she turns the dial and she has all these emotions.
Yeah, in an amazing bit of acting.
Yeah, very
you
good
see,
acting.
I mean, this actress was so good.
All the acting was really good.
The acting is really good. And she's going through and she realizes, who she is being taken over by somebody and she's crying.
No, that's because of the dial.
Well, I know, but it's not her real personality. She can feel it's being stripped away from her. That's why she's crying.
That's not how I took it, because she's turning the dial, and as she turns the dial further, she starts crying.
But you've got the personalities are fighting, and when she's crying, she knows whatever's happening to her, her mind is going away, and then Tatiana Voss takes over.
Maybe.
No,
I didn't read it that way.
I did.
Maybe.
I did.
Because when she possesses the guy, it's the same thing. He turns the dial and he starts crying.
But that's after, right? Because that's a person losing themselves.
Maybe. Okay, I could see that.
Okay.
But that's not how I read it. But
I just gotta say, that woman at the beginning, her acting was
it was great.
Unbelievable.
She was great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Literally going through the emotions of somebody, taking over.
Yeah. It felt very real.
And then she's dressed basically as a Scientologist in a blue shirt.
Oh, is that what that was?
No, like you don't know. Like it's a bar. It's some kind of a.
It is. It's like a bar.
She's like a waitress in a bar. But I thought.
And they're all wearing these blue tracksuits.
Right, blue tracksuits. Going into this like hipster bar and wherever.
And so she goes in and she starts stabbing this guy.
Well, she walks up to this dude. It's like his party.
She walks up to him and they're in a bar.
Well, yeah, but it's a party. It's like a party for elites. It's a party for very rich people, elite people.
Yeah, it's definitely some kind of elite thing.
Yes.
So she starts stabbing him.
And
stabbing him and stabbing him and stabbing him and stabbing him.
Okay, now a big part.
First she stabs him in the throat.
A big part about this movie is the portrayal of violence.
Oh my God, there's so much violence. I can handle some violence, but this is like over the top. It's later on in the movie.
I haven't seen violence like this.
I mean,
I think
something's up with the Cronenbergs.
No, it's part of that. I mean, this is definitely body horror. But what's interesting to me is the violation of the mind cannot be externalized. You can't see it, how horrible it is. But once someone has been violated this way, they then violate someone else physically. But she's in control of them. Right, and it's her job to kill these people. I know. So I think what Cronenberg is doing here, Brandon's doing, young Brandon.
How old is he?
I don't know. Would you like me to find out?
Yes, I would.
I would like to find out. I mean, I have no idea how young Master Cronenberg is, how old he is.
Yeah, what's going on in his head with all that violence and all the peen?
Well, I'll tell you what violence and don't we all know what violence and peen's all about?
What?
Sex and death. I mean, this is the oldest story in the world. He's 40 years old. He was born in 1980.
Wow.
He was born the year The Empire Strikes Back came out. And there he is.
There he is.
Brandon Cronenberg. Let's bring him up. Look at that guy. I want to imagine that guy directed this movie.
He looks very young.
But he's 40. Look at him.
Well, that's when he was younger.
Yeah, he's a hipster dude. I like him. Oh, wait. I wish I could put this
you
on.
Like him?
I mean, I look at that. There he is with his father.
Oh, they even look alike.
David Cronenberg is on Discovery now, playing, the evil or clandestine. What? Yeah, he's on Discovery. He's in Star Trek.
Like as an actor?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
What's
one of my
his
favorite
character?
directors ever. He's basically playing David Cronenberg in the future. Maybe he's part of Section 31.
Way in the future?
Well, yeah, 1,000 years.
How could he live?
The 32nd century.
That long?
Well, he's Brandon Cronenberg's dad, and he's David Cronenberg, which means body horror. Maybe he figured out a way to live that long.
Wow.
So anyway.
Can you move that a little bit
more?
more?
All right, sorry, I'll move this so you can see. So anyway, so in this film, so let's explain I don't think we've quite explained it.
No,
So
we haven't.
there's a
Has
clandestine.
anyone even seen this movie? Have you guys seen
55
this?
people are here. Come on.
Okay, 55 people. Have you seen this movie?
But they should. Come on.
I don't know if they should.
Philip Alvarez says, well, you know, Liz reads the chat after the show. Is somebody, B.L. Alley says,
What are you saying?
not another peen movie. B.L. Alley is a very witty man.
Oh, come on, man.
He's pretty good. He comes up with the
peen
witticisms.
movies.
Don't we all? So,
Do you?
well, I like explicit films. There's not enough, and let's face it, I mean, you know, why not?
Why not?
And you get to see Vajayjay in this movie. I mean, seriously,
like
like full on
Legs spread,
Vajayjay.
camera right there.
Yeah, there's an explicit sex scene in this film.
It's kind of pornographic. That scene is
well,
pornographic.
there's no close-ups of penetration, but it's
pornographic.
It is pornographic. Hence, Possessor, uncut.
What's the rating of the uncut?
I would imagine it's rated full on peen.
Don't watch this with your children.
Peen and Vajayjay. But so anyway, so the
And
plot
tons of violence.
the plot of this
Some
movie
people
is
get off on that.
I certainly do.
You get off on violence?
Well, in movies like this, that's why I watch them.
No, I mean like you get sexually aroused by violence.
No.
That's what I meant.
No, I don't. Some people do.
Some people do. That's why his father made Crash.
I do not get. Well, yeah, I get sexually aroused with car crashes.
Do you?
Sure, absolutely.
For real? Or you're just
no,
saying that
I'm
because
just saying
of
that
Crash?
because we're on live on YouTube, so I'm, you know.
You're just being weird.
Okay. Well, anyway, so the premise of this movie is there's an organization that we don't know anything about. We never learn what they do. Like they might be. We don't know
that
like
they possess people to assassinate certain
Yes.
people. They are hired to assassinate.
it's in a bureau of assassination, and there's
Yeah.
been movies that have other bureaus of assassination.
Right. Like the one we were just watching.
Yes,
Ava.
like Ava. So this company takes on clients who want someone dead.
Right.
And the way this company does it, so they have plausible deniability, is they use their agents and they put them in a machine, and their agents get to possess other people. And the people they possess, and they have agents that possess. So Tatiana Voss.
Yeah, but Tatya Voss is their best.
Their best agent.
Possessor.
Their best. Right. Yes. So she goes into the bodies of these people, possesses their minds.
Yeah.
And then they kill people. And at the end, they
Yeah.
kill themselves, and she comes out. And whether they die, like we see, die by cops or whatever, the people that kill them have been set up because they might have a motive or whatever, as we see later.
Well, yeah, of course. They have it all planned out.
They have it all planned out, and then the possessor comes out of the body, and
then they're debriefed to make sure they're not messed
well, that's
up.
yes, but even
Because the more she does it, the more messed up she gets.
right, the more times you possess someone, and we see this because even though she passes the test, she goes home to her ex-husband and son.
Right.
And she's standing outside the door.
And she's rehearsing what to say to them.
And she doesn't really know why she's there, or it's weird. Like she's
got some problems.
She's got issues. Issues.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about this premise? Because I loved it. I think
The
it's
premise is great. The premise is great. I had other issues with it.
good. What issues did you have, Elysabeth?
I had issues with, like, he doesn't develop the characters enough. It's like, I don't know who they are. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And even the victims, like, I want to feel sympathy and empathy for this victim. But it's kind of hard to do that, too, because you don't know anything about them. And you don't really care.
I do think that's a failing of the film, and
Yeah.
that is things that have been leveled at Cronenberg's movies in the past. So,
Which one?
not Brandon, but David.
Like father, like son.
And I think this movie is too much premise and not enough character and story.
He didn't develop the characters or the story. The premise is great, though. The idea is a really good idea.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So we find out that our possessor is the ex-wife, or they're divorced or separated or something.
Well, she says when she finishes the job with the girl that stabs the guy in the club, she comes out of it and she's debriefed, and they try to make sure that she's okay by having her identify objects that belong to her, and then they throw in an object that's not hers.
Right, which is kind of cool. I mean, I thought that was really clever.
And it reminded me of the why can't I ever remember movies?
Because you don't remember anything that happened.
Leo DiCaprio, you know, he has the top.
Inception.
What was his top? It was his.
It was his totem.
His totem. Yeah, so it's kind of like that.
It is like that.
She had totems.
That's very astute.
To ground her in reality.
Yeah.
Okay, so she identifies her totems.
And they throw one in to make sure that
they throw one in, and she identifies it correctly. It's not hers. And so then she says, I want to take some time off. Michael wants me to take some time off. And then her, Jason Lee is like, you guys are separated.
Right.
So she's starting to forget some details of her life.
As a possessor, she's losing herself.
She's losing herself.
Her identity. And this is one of the many very interesting themes this film touches on. Unfortunately, I think, I liked this movie, but I wanted to love this movie. I heard a lot about it. And the reason I didn't was because it throws out all of these interesting ideas that it really doesn't develop.
It doesn't develop. Mm-mm.
And one of the things about this that bothered me is that how does a woman get recruited by an assassination organization that kills people by putting them into other people's... They hire these did she take a college exam? And
why would they choose a mother?
Yeah,
and it's not like it's a brand new baby. She didn't start off as an assassin.
He's 9 years old.
And then have a baby. I think she had this baby. This kid is what, 9?
Right.
8, 9?
A boy, nice boy.
8, 9 years old, and she's an assassin.
Yeah, and the thing that my whole I would love to have known why. It's not exactly the kind of job you apply for.
Right.
It's not on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they could
We need an assassin.
They could have shown a few scenes flashback to her earlier days and how she got into it. It wouldn't even have to be long, just a little something to give some kind of background.
Right.
You know? And same with the victims. Especially the one main victim.
Well, the main victim is Sean Bean, Boromir from The Lord of the Rings.
No. I mean the guy she possesses.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know nothing about him.
I want to know more about him because I want to empathize. I want to, I want to feel bad for him.
Right. So.
But you kind of don't.
Well, so.
Except that he's kind of.
Sean Bean
really
becomes
cute.
well, he is cute. He looks very much like the guy from The Expanse. Oh, really? You want a swarthy, darker guy? Should I not be so old and white?
Sweetheart, I love you.
Just checking.
I love your green eyes and your long eyelashes.
All right. That's good. Thanks, babe. Good answer. So in the film, the main gist of the plot is Sean Bean plays the leader of a multinational corporation that spies on people.
Yeah.
Like gets information about everybody in their most... to find out everything. They're data mining in the most insidious way, where they hire people to literally put on goggles and invade people's lives.
The chat's not even listening to what we're saying. All they're talking about is peen. They're
Well, they're boys.
They're putting peen in the title of different movies and shows.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Peen. Well.
Oh my God.
Richard's saying tonight's game, insert peen into any movie. Thanks a lot, Richard. Here we are talking about a film. Insert peen into any movie title.
I love it.
How about Purple Peen?
Purple Peen.
Or Peen Rain. Runaway Peen. The Great Peen Robbery. Empire's Peen Strikes Back.
Dirty Rotten Peen.
Dirty Rotten Peen. Oh, that's bad. That's not good. The Wizard of Peen.
The Wizard of Peen.
Why are we playing this game? This is a very important movie. Now we're digressing.
Because it's hilarious.
It's not hilarious. It's not hilarious. Steven Spielberg's Peen.
Yes.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. 45-degree angle, there's a giant peen right there. Come on now. This is not that funny. That was not that funny. Close Encounters of the Peen Kind.
You keep going. Just like a peen.
Just like a peen.
Oh, Lord.
Come on now.
Oh.
The Peen Panther. The Revenge of the Peen Panther. The Peen Panther strikes again.
Peenwick.
Peenwick. Peenwick. Doesn't make sense. Come on. It would actually be John Peen. A wick is a peen. So the actual thing would be John Peen, not John Wick. John Peen.
John Peen.
Because a wick is a peen.
Exactly. Peen
so it's
wick.
not Peen Wick, it's John Peen. I mean, John Peen 3, Peenabellum. Anyway, that's not where we're at here. Let's not let our show digress. Let's go back.
I started it.
To Possessor, uncut. Come on now, this is not funny.
Okay. Whew, this is your fault, Richard.
Let's get back on track. Our moderators have derailed us. Our moderators derailed us on a live show. So anyway, back to the movie. So the gist of the plot involves Sean Bean is the inventor, the creator, the impresario of some unnamed global tech conglomerate.
Right.
That is spying on people. He's data mining by actually having a cadre of people spying on real human beings.
Yes.
Through their whether they have Alexa or whatever. People
through the computers, through their people's cameras, or through their Alexa, through anything.
Yeah, and which, by the way, is kind of terrifying.
It is, but it happens.
Well, yeah, and what's very interesting about that is we see, and I have to say this is kind of not only titillating but also shocking, that we see our main character that is about to be possessed by Tatya Voss.
Yeah. Well, what happens is like they want to get his soon-to-be father-in-law.
Well,
who is the target, and he owns that company.
Well, that
spies on people, and he is engaged to the guy's daughter.
Yeah. So, Colin Tate is our main character.
Yeah.
And Colin Tate, played by Christopher Abbott, who's great, by the way, in the movie.
He's really great.
He is engaged. He's the boyfriend of Sean Bean's character. Sean Bean's John Parse. That's his name.
Yep. He's the boyfriend of his daughter.
His daughter is, by the way, played by Tuppence.
Tuppence?
Tuppence is her name.
Her name is Tuppence?
Middleton is her real name.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, and by the way, if I ever had a daughter, I would name her Tuppence.
No.
Don't you like that name?
No, the poor thing would get teased like
Tuppence.
Crazy.
No, she'd be like either Tup or Pants. What's up, Pants? Whatever. So Tuppence plays Ava Parse, and she's hot.
She's cute.
She's hot. She looks, she's, okay.
She's cute.
She's cute. So she's the daughter of Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Multinational billionaire.
Yes.
And she's engaged to Christopher Abbott, who played Colin Tate.
He was a nobody. He was a drug dealer, and he was her drug dealer, and she fell in love with him.
As one does.
Got tons of money, and so he's in this relationship now, and they chose him to be the assassin because he is now working for the father in just like a average, the lowest position possible.
Yeah, the father, in deference to his daughter, gave him a job, and the father hates him.
Yeah, he hates him
openly. Is openly
he's
disdainful.
He's a nobody, and so they choose him because he's been emasculated, and he's like, there's a good reason for him to kill both the father and the daughter.
Yeah, so what happens is Tasya Voss, her next job is to possess Colin.
Yeah.
She's the possessor. He is the possessee. And she first of all, she stakes out. She looks at him because she has to know, like, how they're clandestinely. She has to know, how do you talk? Like, what is your vocal stylings? Like she can't just jump into a body without knowing. So she begins surveillance on him.
In a building across the way, and she's watching them, and she's listening. They have put a bug, and she's listening, and she's trying to pick up his mannerisms.
Yeah, and they've captured him off the street and implanted.
Yeah, after she does, practices his mannerisms and the way he speaks and the words he uses, they take him the next morning and they do the implant,
which is like the antenna that allows the possessor to possess him, and that happens. Like Tasya Voss possesses him. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting is then the movie goes off and shows what happens when a female possessor possesses a male.
Right.
And she has to then act like this guy.
Yeah, and so the first morning he wakes up next to his girlfriend, but he's like really interested in her day, and he's like all lovey-dovey and asking her lots of questions, and she's like, "Are you okay?"
Right.
She's like, "You're being very strange."
Because she can't know any, even though you surveil someone, you can never know what they're really like.
No, she surveilled him for one evening.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
She does not know.
And then they have sex.
That morning?
Well, later, whatever.
That's all you remember.
Well, the sex scenes in this movie are pretty good.
It's pornographic.
It is pornographic. You don't see vajayjay, but you do see in this movie spread vajayjay, which I've never seen.
You do
in a horror film, or a science fiction or whatever.
Yeah, when he's at work, and he's wearing the virtual reality goggles, and he's supposed to go into the rooms that he's surveilling and see what kind of curtains they have.
Right.
So they're cataloging what kind of curtains people have. And
as one does. If you want to sell people curtains, that's data you need.
Right.
So he watches a dude full on go down on his wife or his girlfriend.
Yeah. Full on.
She spreads herself open wide.
Yeah.
And he gets down, and he is showing his cunning linguist skills.
Yeah, and so the possessed person, what's his name, Colin is like,
well, he's not possessed yet.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, is he possessed?
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so she's so now
it's the first day she goes to work as him.
So she's possessed him. That's right. She's possessed him, and then he is watching virtual reality goggles. So there's a multiple layers of reality.
It's actually her, the possessor, watching. And then you hear, because she stops to watch the whole scene, and you hear her boss say, or the supervisor say,
yeah,
"You're very slow today, Colin. What's taking so long?"
Well, I'm watching this guy mac down on his wife and then put it to her.
But not only that, and I forgot to mention, when she first possesses him, she sees this weird blob floating in front of her, like a blob of flesh or something, and she reaches out as Colin reaches out and grabs the blob. So this happens again when after she watches the sex scene again, she has this weird fracturing of being him, and so he kind of comes through a little bit.
Yep.
And so she freaks out and leaves work.
Yeah, so what's happening here is Tasya, her possessing, she's like the ace possessor, the A number one. She is losing herself, and Colin, his personality is asserting itself.
Yeah, he comes through every.
Yeah, he comes through. So his personality is coming through as she's possessing him.
Yeah,
which is amazing. I mean, this is amazing.
He doesn't even know what's going on.
He could never know. He has no idea why he's losing himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a great scene when he first sees the girlfriend. He's trying to talk to her, and then at his work, there's this guy that works with him. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?" His friend. What's his friend's name? Eddie. His name's Eddie. His friend Eddie. "Hey, how you doing?" And who's overly friendly. Like in the bathroom, he's taking a leak, and Eddie's like, "Hey, how are you?"
I don't remember that.
I'm not looking at your peen, but hey.
Although this movie's all about peen.
I mean, there is erect peen in this movie.
Honey, we've mentioned.
I'm just saying. So, I mean, but that's why it's Possessor uncut. So anyway, it was cut, but it's uncut in the movie. Cut before the movie, but uncut in the film. But no, I think that, and now here's where the film, to me, this is the most interesting stuff. Like, we've seen movies like Steve Martin's All of Me, where Lily Tomlin possesses Steve Martin, and Shatner plays a woman in the last episode of Star Trek, Turnabout Intruder, when Janice Lester. So I love watching Colin play being possessed by a woman assassin.
Yeah.
And
he's a good actor.
He's a really good actor. and all of this is really interesting. And then at the same time, you're kind of learning about him and his relationship with this girl. Like, this girl is a poor little rich girl, and the father hates him. He was a drug dealer. And like, when you meet him, he walks out, and it's kind of shocking. There's like our lead female, the girlfriend is there with 3 of her girlfriends, and they are fucking getting high as fuck.
Yeah,
they're snorting.
Yeah,
they're doing blow. They're doing ecstasy. They're doing all this stuff, and they are the epitome of decadence, like Hollywood decadence.
Well, yeah,
finance.
I mean, she's rich,
right? But the idea is that in this film, at least, that the richest people are the most like
evil,
decadent. I mean, they're just. I wouldn't say they're evil. They just indulge themselves. There's no, and yet you do like poor little rich girl.
You do.
She's a nice girl. She's very
nice.
pretty.
She's pretty. She loves him.
I mean, and she just wants to feel something.
Yeah.
And again, explicit
But
sex.
there's a scene where he goes to the bathroom and he's looking in the mirror because he's just not. The possessor is not really doing a good job keeping control. So he's looking in the mirror, and one of her girlfriends comes in the bathroom. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were in here," but she comes in anyway and shuts the door, and you realize that they had a thing.
Or that they have an ongoing thing. He's fucking around on his girlfriend's.
It doesn't say that they have ongoing.
No, it's implied, and you find out later it pretty much is.
No, he uses that to. No. It's not no. He might. No, I don't agree.
Okay, well, okay, all right, but
they
still.
They don't say that it's ongoing, but that they did have a thing.
So our possessor, not only is she dealing in his mind, in Colin's mind, with the girlfriend, then she finds out he's got some other relationship with the girlfriend's friend, which complicates things even further. And then you got Eddie at work and all this, and the idea is, the whole point is that he has been set up as the assassin to kill Sean Bean, the father of his girlfriend.
Right.
And they have a big party.
Yeah, there's a big party, and they go, and the assassin is told to cause a scene, fight with the dad, and then leave. Create
a motive.
Yeah.
A very public motive why he would come back and kill them.
And kill them. Mm-hmm.
Which he does. Mm-hmm. But Sean Bean, by the way, great. He's great in this movie.
Yeah.
As an
Total
unrepentant motherfucker. This guy, he is such a monumental douchebag. And the fact that he just openly makes fun of his daughter's boyfriend. Like, openly just makes fun of him. Like, emasculates him.
Yeah. He's terrible.
And what's funny is, as a viewer, your loyalties, like at first you're with Tasia Voss. You're like, okay, I get it. And then when she possesses this guy, you start to like him, even though she's possessing him. You understand, like...
Yeah, you feel something for him.
You do, because the girlfriend... No, but you don't know him. Well, the whole movie is that way, but I think it's a great failing of this film. But the idea that you like this guy, you like the possessed guy, and you see that he's in this like relationship. The girl's hot and all that, but her friends are like empty vessels, drug addict, whatever. And then when you finally meet Sean Bean, you're like, this guy's a dick.
Totally.
And you really feel for the guy that's being possessed.
You do.
That's being set up to kill Sean Bean.
The real Colin.
The real Colin. And you're like, wow, what a bummer for him.
Yeah.
And I feel this movie, all of these elements are great. There's all this stuff that's really, really interesting, but the movie doesn't spend much time with it. It's too concerned with, its plot. Like, why is Tasia, how did she get involved in this? Why?
Yeah. And same with Jennifer Jason Leigh. Like, nothing.
Nothing about her.
Why is she in charge of this? Why is she, like, what? You don't get much.
Yeah, you just have to assume that, okay, apparently they pay well. Like, I don't know. Like, why are they in the business of, is this easier than just walking up to somebody and shooting them in the head? Like, this is a lot of trouble they're going to.
A lot. And
but it's cool. It's sci-fi and all that. I liked it. I liked all that stuff. But, so then, the idea is, Tasia has to start a fight openly with Sean Bean and his people. So when he comes back and kills him, everybody knows, oh, they got in a fight earlier.
Right.
And they do. They get in this drunken brawl.
Yeah, he goes up to him and says, you owe me an apology. And the guy's like, go back to my daughter. Like,
right.
Go away.
Yeah, the adults are talking.
Right. And so, but then he doesn't let down. And then he says something about fucking his daughter and blah, blah, blah.
Sucking your daughter's, her mouth was on my cock. Which is true, but when you're not supposed to say that to your girlfriend's father.
Right.
Like, I have to say, in my life, I've never actually said, sir, I really like it when your girlfriend's
your
daughter's mouth is on my cock.
That would be horrific. That. Nobody says that.
Right, but that's why it's so transgressive in the movie.
Yeah, so then he punches him, and of course, like, they get into a fight, and he's thrown out. Oh, and on his way out, he even says to his girlfriend, you fucking bitch.
You fucking, like, why would you do that? Like, I understand. I'm like, why don't you leave it open? I mean, even I would be like, you don't want to insult your girlfriend because maybe you got to go back there. Maybe you got to.
Well, no, that was her job to set it up.
I know.
That it looked.
But I felt bad about it.
So there's a motive.
As I'm watching this movie, I'm like, you've gone too far. Don't insult your girlfriend. She loves you. Mm-hmm. You've gone too far. I felt that watching this movie. I'm like, oh, don't insult your girlfriend. She's only loved you.
But he has to kill her, so.
Well, he's not. She just happens to be there. So he comes back.
Mm-hmm. No, the whole plan was to kill the father and the daughter.
That's right, because she inherits the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So he had to.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Then he comes back.
He comes back, and it's just the dad and the daughter, and they're sitting at the table.
They're getting hammered together.
They're getting hammered, and he's still being a dick to his daughter. But anyway, she's like, I can't go home. He's like, well, you can stay here. And that's when she starts going upstairs, and he comes in and sits at the table, puts the gun down on the table.
And they have and Sean Bean's like, what are you going to do with that, tough guy?
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to bed.
I'm drunk. I'm going to bed. And then...
Oh, wait. When he walks through the house to get to the kitchen, he grabs a fireplace.
Yeah, like a
the poker.
Yeah, the fire poker. Oh,
the fireplace, the
metal poker.
And goes in there, and that's the thing. They scolded Tasia for not using the gun. Like, every time, like, when she was the black girl, she stabbed the guy instead of shooting him when she was holding a gun.
Right in the head.
Yeah, and they're like, why are you doing that? She obviously loves killing people violently.
The penetration. Anyone can pull a trigger, but to actually stick a knife in someone's throat.
How first of all, how could a mother enjoy that? How?
Come on now.
Come on, man.
Hasn't there been a time?
No, I'm talking about violence.
I'm talking about you being a mother. Like, shut the hell up. Come on, how many mothers have, like, driven their kids into a lake in their cars?
Not many.
Well, some do.
Not
they go
many.
around the bend.
Not many.
All right, I don't know. I don't have kids. But if I did have kids,
Yeah, it's a far leap to think that she loves this violence so much that she'd rather use other implements than to shoot people.
Well, that's true. And in this sequence, she starts beating in Tasia in
it's
Colin's
horrific.
body.
This scene is horrific.
It
and
is
I could not watch it.
I
couldn't watch it.
It was one of the most violent things I have ever seen. She starts battering him, or he, Colin, Tasia in Colin's body, starts battering him with this poker, but then sticks it in his mouth.
Yeah,
and
there's a close-up.
And breaking his teeth.
I couldn't watch.
Breaking his teeth and then sticking his eye, and pulls his eyeball out.
Too much.
It is one of the most, by the way, the visual effects are,
but the violence keeps going and going and going.
It goes, I mean,
it goes on and on and on.
I worked for visual effects, a special effects makeup company for 2 years. And this shit was next level. The violence in this movie, and the killings are unbelievable in this film. Like, I was watching them going, oh my God. I mean, it was, and this was the most horrific death. This was one of the most, I thought, like Maniac, when Joe Spinell blows the head off of Tom Savini in the car. But this is so vicious and the violence is so violating.
But he like zooms in on the violence.
And you see the teeth, you were looking away. His teeth are like cracking off, and you see the thing go into his eyeball, and it pulls the eye. It was so fucked up. The violence in this movie is out of control.
Out of control. No, there is something wrong with Brandon Cronenberg.
Well, no, the question then, the question I ask you is, why do you think he chose to linger on that kind of physical violence because this movie has a really interesting sci-fi premise?
I think it turns him on.
You think it turns him on?
Yeah.
It gives him 45-degree peen instead of 90-degree peen. It goes up that high.
Yeah.
Goes from there to there.
I really do.
Really? But why do you think that turns him on?
I don't know. Why would you show so much violence?
Well, I think if I may,
show that kind of violence?
Because
why?
I think the idea of the violation of the human body, like our bodies are sacrosanct. I mean, we don't, and to see them penetrated in any way, whether it's mental, I think it was a physical example of what's happening. You can't show somebody penetrating anyone mentally, but you can show the violence that's being perpetrated against them. You have the possessor showing by proxy the kind of violence. It's physical, but it's a manifestation of what's been done mentally in the movie, in a way. Like, once you're a possessor, when you're a killer, you're violating somebody physically the way you have violated someone else mentally, I guess. I mean, this is me looking for metaphors.
Any reason why?
But the violence, I mean, the violence in these scenes is unreal. I mean, it is beyond the sex and the violence in the film. By the way, Possessor, uncut. The violence in the film is so,
it's too much,
and the sex too. I mean, and what's interesting is it's all penetrative. It's like, I mean, sex is at first you have a man pleasuring a woman orally. He's a cunning linguist, but then he's literally penetrating her, and you see that. You see that the penis, erect penis, as a penetrating. Is that violent? Even though the sex is only shown as being pleasurable, but there's something to be drawn from the knives penetrating.
I can see that, yes.
Because
they do come back to the knife penetrating the neck quite often. Like, there's several times they show that again. Yeah, and that's, the jugular vein. I mean, they go back to that a lot. Yeah.
He goes back to that a lot.
I think you're onto something about the act of penetrating. But it's too much. It's just too much.
Man.
I couldn't watch it.
I know. I
can handle quite a bit, but that was way over the top.
And I had heard about that, but I didn't realize. I mean, it's fucking extreme. And I love blood and gore. But I like blood and gore, not like this. Like, this is too real. It was too
real.
When someone's...
Yeah, so it's different when it's... When
you're watching a thing break off someone's teeth in their mouth, it's fucking hardcore. Hardcore.
Yeah, it's different than Quentin Tarantino. Tons of violence, but it's like so fakey that it's tolerable. But this was so real. This was too real.
It was brutal. I mean, really, really horrific.
Horrific.
I mean, it was really horrific. But interesting. Like you haven't seen it presented this way. And now what happens is, what's really interesting is Sean Bean doesn't die. You know, he's not killed. And the latter...
But the daughter comes in because she hears the commotion. Because in the end, he does shoot him.
Yep.
Colin as possessed.
Doesn't kill him, though.
Shoots him, but doesn't kill him. And then turns around and shoots the girlfriend.
The girlfriend. And
in the
shoots
back, because she's trying
twice
to
in
get
the
away.
back, and then shoots her in the head when he comes and finds her in the kitchen.
Yeah, after he tries to finish off the dad, he goes to look for her, and she's trying to get away, and he shoots her in the head.
And then which leads to basically the second half of the film, where Tasia Voss and Colin are vying for control of his body. And it's really, I mean, from a story perspective, it's interesting. But when you're watching,
at that point, after he kills everyone, the possessor is supposed to kill the possessed, but she fails every time.
She does, because she's losing control, and the possessor overpowers that.
Yeah.
And so you watch her and him go through life, you know, after that, like...
him trying to get control back and not understanding what's happening.
In the wake of this murder, the cops are presumably looking for him. And then you find out that his buddy, Eddie... And, of course, Jennifer Jason Leigh is trying to solve this problem with her people. Like, how can we get Tasia Voss out of there? And how can we solve this...
Yeah, because he's supposed to kill himself.
Yeah, and he didn't.
Doesn't do
and
it.
She's there, and it's a problem. So you've got, they're trying to fix their problem. Colin is trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, as Colin and Tasia are fighting it out. And it is really interesting.
Yeah.
You're not convinced?
I just feel like it needed to be developed more.
I agree. I think this whole movie is full of amazing concepts.
Yeah.
That they touch on, they skip around, and you never get a sense or a chance to really bite into what does this all mean. And by the way, they don't answer these questions. Mm-mm. They don't. They pose like, well, if you're trying to be someone else, you're gonna finally lose yourself in their personality. This is not new news.
They don't even answer that at all.
No. Nope.
Because in the end, so it's back and forth between Colin and Tasia, and then he ends up at the ex-girlfriend's apartment, and he stays there, and then Eddie shows up, and you find out that Eddie is actually working with this
Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah.
He's the contact that's supposed to oversee him.
Right.
And then Colin kills him and the girlfriend he was having the affair with.
Yeah. Right. So all these people are dead. I mean, it's just yeah.
It's Possessor uncut.
Okay. So then he keeps getting these visions of her memories of her house with her ex-husband and her kid, and he ends up going there, and
they know in his mind, the two of them, they know each other, they know what's going on, and he's fighting for control.
He is,
and
he's trying to find a way to regain control and get her out by going to her family and threatening the family. So he goes there. And he goes inside. I mean, Michael, the husband, doesn't want to let him in, but he breaks in, and he holds a gun to Michael and is asking, "Where is Tasia? Or where's Tasia? I need her. I need her to get out of my head," or whatever he says. And
the husband's
Michael
clueless.
doesn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't
even know Tasia does this.
No.
And they're separated for whatever reason. Yeah. The idea was, when she got this job, it ruined their marriage. You don't know. And the end of this movie is fucking hardcore.
It is. No, it crosses a line.
Does it?
It crosses a line.
What line would that be?
A mother killing her own child.
Oh my God! It is. Like I said, it's fucking hardcore. I mean, it ends in an explosion of violence to the point where a 9-year-old kid is shot but then he kills somebody. The 9-year-old kills.
The 9-year-old kills Colin, but then Colin as Tasia, because they flash to Tasia, kills her own son.
Not just kills him. I mean, it's hard core. And at first, you see the 9-year-old kid with a bullet hole in his chest. I mean, it's brutal. No, this movie's brutal.
That's wrong.
So it's all over. That's the end of the movie. And now I have to ask you. No, I had not seen this film. I'd heard about this film. I understand why people are like, oh my God, the levels of violence and the stuff that happens in this movie are amazing.
Amazing? They're awful.
I mean, no, they're awful, but in terms of eliciting a response. Like, when you see Friday the 13th, it's like,
yeah, that's not...
The violence in this film, because the context, violence in films is all about context. If a serial killer or a Freddy Krueger rips you open, or you get sucked into a bed and you get spewed out, people don't go, oh my God. This movie, the violence is very much set in the real world. Sean Bean's getting a poker in his face, getting his don't read the chats, come on. I'm making good points here. We're supposed to converse.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you know what I was saying?
Yeah, the poker in the mouth.
Okay. That's only because you remember that from your life, all the times that happened. Poker in the mouth. Oh, God. Come on. So anyway, so that idea is the realistic violence. But I asked myself after the movie was over, I'm like, why do that?
Why?
Why
do that?
What was the point? I mean, I understand drawing a parallel between the mental violation and the physical violation, and I have to say that David Cronenberg's films, his father, his body horror movies, are all, whether it's They Came Within,
so
The Brood,
grotesque.
The Fly, but the metaphor for that is our physical bodies that carry around our intellect, our souls, which are our brains, whatever, can revolt against us, whether it's cancer, whatever, and we have we can eat well or whatever, but our mind, our intellect, if our body decides to revolt against us, like grow a little stinger like in Rabid, or have a parasite that's gone up our vajayjay and taken over, or whatever, I mean, we can't do anything about it. And David Cronenberg's oeuvre is all about that. The schism between our fleshy bodies and our soul. You know, and so I was watching this and I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah, but this is his son. Remember?
Yeah, his son. And his son is like playing punk rock music without meaning. It's like I felt watching this movie, there's all these interesting ideas. David Cronenberg, like The Brood, a family destroyed, and the what happens to a kid, the physical manifestation of that horror, it was very apparent in the movie. But in this movie, I'm looking at this horrible, the extreme violence and the sexuality, and I'm like, what does it all mean? Yeah. And I feel that he dropped the ball.
He did drop the ball.
Do you feel that?
Absolutely.
Why do you feel that?
I did not like this film.
Okay, why didn't you like it?
Because, like I said, the characters are not developed, the story's not developed, the premise is good, but
really
none of it is
good.
developed.
I mean, it's really good.
I don't care about these people. I really don't. And then the violence is so over the top. Like, why? Why even go there? There's really no reason to do that. Leave something to the imagination. Like, come on, man.
Well, I also felt that
and then the whole ending where she kills her son. Really?
Well, I felt like, here's the difference. Like when you have a punk band, like, you know, the Sex Pistols, they had a political message. They were railing against the system. Yeah. Or there were punk bands that just like being punk bands. Like, I just want to stick it to the man. I felt like, as a Cronenbergian, call it what you want, I love David Cronenberg's movies. He's hugely influential on me. And when I watched this film, I felt his son was aping David Cronenberg, but not understanding the underlying philosophy. And in a way, it kind of encompassed the entire youth of the world. Like, I'm like, okay, you guys want to wield all of these things, but you're not. You call yourself Marxists, But you've never actually read Karl Marx. And that, I feel, is a problem. And this movie, I felt that way. I felt like I'm getting this half-baked philosophy, and you're giving me shock value between the sex and the thing is, just because I see a woman spread her legs and a man go down on her, that's not shocking. You know, it is shocking in a movie when you see a non-pornographic movie, not a movie that's uncut. But in this particular film, it's like, okay, you're showing me all of a sudden you're going to delve into this. Why?
Don't do what?
Why do you delve into this? Like, why do you, like, suddenly you're looking literally at a woman's legs open?
Yeah, why?
And
why have so much, like, explicit sex, and why have so much violence?
Well, look.
Why are you revealing so much? Why can't you leave it to the imagination?
But it's a
movie. It's not a porno, and it's not like, you know.
Well, I understand. He was trying to convey, like, well, this is what people do. But I'm like, you've decided to show fucking as opposed to, like, making an omelet. You could be in the kitchen watching someone make an omelet, but no, you're going to have a man and a woman have sex. They're married, you know, and this woman's, her legs are spread as far apart as they can go. And look, I love that. I love the feminine form. But in this movie, I'm going, wait a minute. Why this? Like, the whole point of surveillance is not, like, the last thing in the world is to show people fucking. That's like the easiest, of course. Well, we want to spy on people because we want to see them
because there's no depth to this film, so of course he's going to show that.
Well, that was my big disappointment in this movie. It's beautifully made. The premise is really interesting. Everything that's going on is interesting, but in the execution, I feel that it is all rendered meaningless.
Yeah, for me, even more than the sex was fine. I don't care. It's the violence was just over the top. It was unnecessary to show that. Really unnecessary.
No, the violence was extreme. And again, when you're doing that as an audience member, not because I'm a film student or whatever, I'm asking myself, why is it you're choosing to linger on the violence?
Yeah.
What is the point that you are making? You know, and I've always felt like, as much as I love erotic scenes in movies, but you have to ask yourself, does this advance the story?
Right.
Like, a lot of the time, people fucking is the story's going along. It's like, now we're fucking.
Yeah, it kind of breaks the.
And when like Paul Verhoeven in Basic Instinct, he said flat out, he's like, all of these sex scenes are suspense moments. That's why he storyboarded all the sex scenes, because you have to wonder, is she going to kill him or not?
Right.
And it becomes a whole thing. So the sex scene, every single shot becomes a step to this. You're building suspense. In this film, I felt like it was just...
The sex was just thrown in.
It was thrown in, and there wasn't anything there was no point being made.
Right.
Like, other than the fact that, and to my mind...
And the thing is, like, okay, so he has Colin as Tasia having sex with his girlfriend, and that's an interesting thought, that she's
a
possessing
guy.
a man and she's having sex with the girlfriend, and that would be a different experience for her. But then he doesn't, like, show them, like, the girlfriend, like, oh, that was different, or that felt different, this is weird, or that was, you know.
Yeah, like the whole thing is like, to me, I've always been fascinated, because as a man, you want to be able to provide pleasure to your partner.
Yeah.
There's no way, there's no signpost. You can, even if a girl tells you what to do, I mean, you cannot ever, like, I joke about the 45-degree upturn tip of the tongue.
Okay.
But you can never know if that's really real, or if the person that's on the receiving end, like, I've always thought that girls have to deal with bad sex most of their life. Like, when you're young, you're getting pawed at by young guys, and they don't know what to do. So women's sexuality is developed based on the bad sex they've been having since they were teenagers.
Not everyone has bad sex.
Well, I'm
since they were teenagers.
Okay. I'm just saying. Like, but there's no way that a guy can actually understand everything because we're not in a woman's body.
Right. Well,
So,
same.
and all these people are different. So now you have a situation where Tasia, as a woman, can inhabit a man's body and fuck a woman. And there was no scene where suddenly he was able to provide pleasure to her that she's never had before.
Right.
Where she can go
would
like,
think as a woman,
yeah,
that somehow the girlfriend would have realized like this is different than our normal, but she doesn't react that way at all.
But they don't play that. I mean, he should have done something as a man sexually.
So then why even have that scene if you're not even going to go there?
Exactly my point. Like he should do something unexpected, like turn her over and lick her ass, give her a rim job, and she's like, "Oh, that's new," and she'd be like,
dude.
"But then she'd be like, why did you do that? You've never done that before."
But it's like dumb. It's like he doesn't take it to where it should go.
Well, that's the thing.
So why even have that scene?
Exactly. And what they show is just a straight sex scene.
Yeah.
Like if they showed him doing something that he'd never done before, then what's interesting is Tasia herself as the assassin making love to a woman through the body of a man. There's a lot of weird gender issues.
Yeah.
Show us like what can we do and make it strange and odd and weird, because that's what this movie wants to be.
Right.
But I feel like that scene, it's just a sex scene when it should be something transgressive. It should tell us something about human sexuality.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the premise was good, but he just failed in several areas.
And I was primed to love this film. I wanted to love it. And at the end of the day, I was like, he touches on so many interesting things, but doesn't develop any of them. Mm-mm. And I was bummed out. I got bummed out.
I wasn't bummed. I just thought, yeah.
Well, you didn't know because I was showing it to you. Like, what is this? But I had a vested interest. It took him 8 years to get this movie made.
Well, maybe he needed 8 more.
Well, I mean, look, it's beautifully made. I mean, this is. The
acting is great.
I would say that anybody who's a sci-fi horror fan should watch this film.
I don't know.
This movie's ambitious. It's trying to do something interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Are you saying no? All right, we have a letter to read, babe.
Right.
I've got a letter. If that's the case, I mean, okay.
Let's read a letter.
This first letter comes from the Richard.
Oh.
The Richard has written a letter to us. Dearest Robert.
It says letter number 2.
I know. I don't know where letter number 1 is. I have to disagree with you on something. If it was your call to not play Natural Born Killers for Elysabeth, I feel this was a loss.
Oh.
Obviously, you know her better than I, so I'm only stating this all from my observations of the both of you. She didn't like Street Trash. Well, she hadn't seen Street Trash. She didn't like Body Melt. That's understandable because it's what it is. Whereas Natural Born Killers is one of the most creative and artistic films I've ever seen. Yes, the overall film is disgusting and violent. On purpose. The whole theme of this is to display how fucked up our pre-social media system is and how it promotes violence. The way that Oliver Stone conveys this is nothing less than genius and utilizes several styles of visual art. That's all true. This film is an artist's dream. Every raw emotion is conveyed, each in a different style of visual art. Elysabeth would likely appreciate all of these styles of art and be able to separate the gore from the beauty. Could you?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
All right. The soundtrack is part of the art. Each song is mixed perfectly to convey either appropriate sounds or a lyric to each scene. Every character is masterfully placed to be over the top and fit the situation. Yes, this was part of a 500-plus page screenplay that Tarantino wrote, and yes, he did split it up to sell True Romance and pay for the production of Reservoir Dogs. If someone was to look closely, they could see how the two connect. Also, sure, Oliver Stone had his way with the story to create the screenplay. What resulted, though, was a masterclass on social economic reflection on desperation, depleted via the most obscene violence imaginable within the boundaries of unrelenting art from every facet of possibilities. The film is one of the most creative films I've ever witnessed. Art, violence, music, coloring, timing, casting, prediction, and presentation. This film is exactly what it set out for and succeeded at its time and still today. I would agree with that, by the way, Richard. Can't trust the press and have faith in those who carry a rattlesnake. Hopefully, Elysabeth will get a chance to watch this in her own time and with the remote in her hand. I'm certain she will acknowledge the beauty and style over the gore. This is not just another bloody serial killer film. This is inspiration for anyone interested in how to create an especially social political commentary. The Richard. What do you think about that? Do you have any response?
Makes me want to watch the film now.
Well, I think you should. Look, knowing what you like and knowing what you don't like, it's an extreme movie. It has a lot, like Possessor, it's got a lot of unrelenting hardcore, and it delves into much darker arenas than this. It's one thing to be an assassin, to kill somebody. It's another thing when you kill the father that's been raping you.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's why I opted to show you Reservoir Dogs instead.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, as a mother, I think the Richard makes great points.
Yeah.
But babe, I also have to protect you as your man.
I know, babe.
I have to make sure that I'm not going to show you something where it's going to be like, oh my God.
Like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to do that. We have another letter.
Okay.
Actually, before we get to the next letter, we've got people that have been writing into us.
Okay.
Let's see if they have and see what they're saying.
Uh-oh.
We'll have to go down.
Oh, there it is.
Let me go down. We have who's here? Let's see. Let me go back further and so Timmy the Spider Monkey sends in a tip and says, I really wanted to like this, but I didn't get into it. You could really see a lot of his father's influence on Brandon, but I found the violence a touch gratuitous.
Yes.
It just felt like it was there just because he thought he had to. I agree. Like you know, if you're gonna show like the idea of violence penetrating the body, it
was too much.
It also, yeah, and I was disappointed in it's easy to do explicit violence. It's harder to make it mean something.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to mean something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it has meaning for him. Maybe it like arouses him.
Well, I think no, it shouldn't be about arousal. It should make a commentary about how fragile our physical bodies are. Like, and you've got somebody who's invading you mentally. But the person that's invading you mentally then becomes the violator of the flesh.
That's not what you get from it.
I know. 501 sent a super chat and said, hello, Rob and the Ace from Montana, the big sky country. I have a question. Can you do Crossroads with Ralph Macchio? Musicians making deals with the devil is an old story. I love, by the way,
Ooh,
I love
that sounds
Crossroads.
Interesting.
I went down to the crossroads. You know, the Robert Parker or whatever.
No.
A jazz musician. The whole movie, it stars a white dude who's schooled by a black guy. The whole idea is that a black musician, not Robert Parker, it's Robert Johnson, went down to the crossroads and made a deal with the devil to get the talent to become a blues musician.
Yes.
That's what it's about. And,
yeah,
and
I would love that. That's my kind of movie.
I loved Crossroads. Walter Hill directed it. It's so good. I don't own it. I don't know if it's even available on Blu-ray.
Oh. Can we stream it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I would watch that.
Sounds really good. I really liked it. And at the end, it's the song "The Devil Went Down to Georgia."
Yeah.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal, and he was in a bind because he was way behind. He was looking to make a deal. When he came across this young boy sewing on a fiddle and playing it hot, devil jumped upon a hickory stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now, you play a pretty good fiddle, son, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul is to think I'm better than you.
Boy
said, my name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take that bet. You're going to regret, because I'm the best there's ever been. Round the mountain, run, boys, run. Brr, devil's in the house of the rising sun. Brr, brr. Sorry. Anyway, it's amazing some things that just trigger.
I want to see this movie now.
So good. And a band of demons joined in, and it sounded something like this. Boom, boom, boom. It's so good. Anyway, people are like, what the hell, Rob? See what happens when I drink wine and someone brings up the Charlie Daniels Band. Anyway, that's why people watch us. Kenneth Colton says, hi, Rob and Liz. Broke up with my girl today.
Aww.
That sucks, yeah. But I wanted to thank Rob for talking with me on Twitter. Time for more shots. Sending love. Well, Kenneth, I think let's all hoist our glasses to Kenneth. And you know what? Sir, I didn't realize that you'd broken up with your girl today, but here's to you. And remember, there's someone else out there that's going to love you more than she did. I know it might be something you can't grasp now.
Yeah.
But just remember,
there's the right person for you out
there. There is the right person. But here's to you, sir. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
And by the way, keep me abreast on Twitter. So when you get abreast of somebody new, I would like to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I'm trying to cheer him up. Why do you... Come on. I'm giving my... I got material here. I'm trying to... Like, Kenneth needs... He needs us to raise our goblets of rock or wine. You know, I feel like when you laugh at me, you're
laughing at you. Okay. I'm laughing with you.
Okay, just so you know, because I think Kenneth, you didn't drink to him.
I did. You took so long to finish what you were saying. I had already taken my drink.
Well, a spectator follows up Kenneth and says, I swear you look like my dad and talk like him. You mean her?
Oh! That was a good one, babe.
Your dad is a great man. Are you not entertained?
Oh, man.
Terrible.
How many beers did you have earlier?
What? Do you think that I'm inebriated? Is that what you're saying?
I know that you're
This show is called WINEning about movies. A spectator is not whining. He's making an astute assumption. And if someone compares me to their father, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, but you're drunk, so...
I'm not drunk. Do I seem drunk to you?
Yes.
Why do you have to sell me out like that? Why do you have to, like, you know... Roberto Suarez. Wait, Roberto Suarez, can we talk about how we're going to make Puerto Rican eggnog?
Oh, yeah, we are.
I mean, we've got it on our kitchen table. We've got the milk.
We'll do it, and then we're
going to make a video.
We'll make a video when we do a Christmas movie. It'll be perfect. Because
by the way, we should announce that from now on,
we
are doing a Christmas movies.
Christmas movies.
And what, pray tell, what are we doing Tuesday night?
I already forgot.
The greatest Christmas movie of all time.
Oh.
What are we doing on WINEing about movies? Yes, we do. You all know what it is. Tuesday night, right here. Die Hard.
Everybody knows.
We are talking about Die Hard, yo.
Yeah.
Die Hard, not with a vengeance, not Die Hard, Die Harder. We're talking about Die Hard. Tuesday night, right here. WINEing about movies. You know what
Christmas movie I want to do?
I don't.
A Christmas Story.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're doing Die Hard. We're doing A Christmas Story. We're doing Love Actually. We're doing The Holiday, and we're culminating with
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. We're gonna do all of that. All of that.
Needs to get his wings.
So it's Die Hard Tuesday, and we're not gonna I know you're finishing your finals, but we're gonna make it work. Die Hard Tuesday. A Christmas Story Thursday, Love Actually Saturday.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe Sunday we'll do another one. We'll do the holiday Sunday, and we're leading up. We're leading up to It's a Wonderful Life. Christmas time for the Jews.
Is there a Hanukkah movie you want to throw in there?
No, there's not a good Hanukkah movie, really.
Bummer.
Roberto Suarez says, the acting... By the way, I just saw his name and I went off. I didn't even read what he said. Roberto, the great Puerto Geekian. Cheers to you, sir. Roberto Suarez says, the acting in Possessor reminded me of the acting in Alien. I felt like a fly in the wall amongst real people going about their lives and work. The possession device also looked like the space jockey from Alien. He's right. That thing, it was truly, you're absolutely right. And you are right. That's there. Look, there was a verisimilitude to this movie. I mean, rightly or wrongly, there was, and that's hard to do. And I mean, it felt realistic. Like, you know, it wasn't like some weird sci-fi chamber, like. There wasn't any of that. It was just a thing. There was no noise.
No.
It was just a thing. Yeah. Like, you could see her, please get me out of here. That's all. And Roberto's right. I mean, as the viceroy of verisimilitude, this movie had peak verisimilitude, whether it was sex, whether it was violence. I mean, absolutely. Roberto Suarez says, also, is it just me, or does Christopher Abbott look a lot like Kit Harington, Jon Snow?
Yeah, that's probably why.
They could play twins in a future Cronenberg movie, perhaps a follow-up to Dead Ringers. Wow.
Yes,
okay.
They do look alike.
He also looked like the lead of The Expanse, the captain of the Ross.
Not so much.
All right, okay, but you're right. All right.
Wow. Yes, I would love to see them together in a movie.
Well, there you go.
Or show.
That could be. Black Philip Alvarez sends in a tip and says, shout out to Thomas Bertoldi for the Peen game idea. Good times. Let's hear it for Peen. Here's to Peen.
Here's to Peen.
Here's to Peen.
I had a good laugh, man.
Swack Props Cal is here. Swack says, I can't wait for you guys to watch and review Tenet. By the way, we're doing that next week, too.
How are we going to fit all that in?
Well, we got to do Tenet.
This is my last week of
I
finals.
haven't seen Tenet. We got maybe. Well, you know what? Tenet, assuming I get it on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll do that
first.
We'll do that first. The Christmas extravaganza.
Yeah. Because we haven't seen Tenet. We got to review Tenet.
Okay, yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah. So I can't wait for you guys to watch and review Tenet. I've seen it twice now and discovered new things with each viewing. John David Washington sounds so much like his father that when I close my eyes when he's talking, I picture Denzel instead. There you go. Roberto Suarez says, also, did you notice that except for the older technician, all of the people working in the assassination agency were women? It reminded me a bit of the Bene Gesserit in Dune, using covert tactics to manipulate society behind the scenes. I love that idea. Like, you know what, Roberto? That's a very interesting point, but I would like to have seen that developed.
Yeah.
Like now that you bring it up, I'm like, oh yeah, except that one dude, the technician. Yes, and Eddie, who's revealed to be. I agree with you, but wouldn't that have been something interesting? You don't lean into it, but isn't it funny that women have resulted to running the assassination bureaus to get rid of the men? There's something really interesting there. Would you do that, babe?
No, and
you wouldn't if someone was paying you $1 million or $2 million a kill.
No, I could never kill someone.
Not for $1 million?
No.
What's your price? $10 million?
No, I don't have a price. I don't kill people.
Yeah, but if someone was actually giving you $10 million,
I would not kill.
For real?
For real.
Not even $20 million?
No, I would not kill somebody.
People need killing, babe. There are people that just don't need to be here.
God, stop it.
Couldn't you rationalize that? Couldn't one day be like, you know what? There are some people that. How about someone who's 65 or 70? They've lived a good life.
No.
You wouldn't take $10 million to kill somebody who's
No,
70?
I would never kill someone. I can't even imagine even considering killing somebody.
Just checking. I just want to see how much you were really believed in your conviction.
I would never kill anyone.
Okay, then.
I
believe that.
Jeez.
All right. Mr. Tickletrunk sends in a tip and says, No mother would do that is the cry of someone who is very caring, level-headed, and someone with normal morals. The point is that this tries to go far over the line to show how inhuman she ended up. I could only watch 50% of the poker scene myself.
Yeah,
you tuned out. You couldn't watch it.
I couldn't watch it. I was like, tell me when it's over.
It was so hardcore.
Oh, man.
I mean, I the breaking of it was amazing. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, no, that was, no.
It was not fun. Mm-mm. You know, I don't like verisimilitude with gore. I like gore when people get their throats slit and blood just goes.
Yeah. I
don't like verisimilitude when it comes to violence.
Agree.
Because I don't like people getting hurt.
I don't either.
I don't dig it. Roberto Suarez says, you forgot to mention that the boy in the end was himself being possessed by Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it's true. He was being used to finally kill the guy so the assassin could be released. I'm not really sure on how that relates to her rage shooting him afterwards. I know.
Yeah, right?
I mean, yes, that is kind of a twist that it's Jennifer Jason Leigh who possesses the kid.
But at that point, you don't even care because you're like, what the fuck? She just killed her son.
No, it's crazy. Throg sexy. Throg, the greatest supporter of this channel, who might have found me, according to him.
What?
The steelbooks of Lord of the Rings 4K
Wow.
and the Hobbit.
Really?
That's what he says.
Man, he's got connections.
Toilet paper and 4K discs. I mean, my God, is there any man that is more lovable than him?
Right? Takes good care of us.
I need to send the money, give him for the discs. But anyway, Throg says, no, sex in movies is never just thrown in, never. But I've been thrown during sex. That's fun. Throg's sexy. Well, Throg, let me just tell you, if you're getting thrown during sex, my God. Let's drink to Throg getting thrown during sex. All right. Now I have this thing like Throg is on top and his wife just goes whoosh.
Dude.
And no, like One Punch Man goes whoosh and Throg flies back and smashes against the wall. I mean, that's all I can say. He's thrown and his wife's like, do better.
Do better.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing that came to my mind. Poor Throg against the wall. Boosh.
Okay.
Jared M. Snyder. By the way, Throg, this is not to... I do not mean to... I'm sure your prowess is legendary. I'm just like, when you get thrown across... That's what you said it. You got thrown across the room. I'm like, terrible. I felt for you. I'm like, God, I hope you didn't have the wind knocked out of you. But anyway, Jared M. Snyder.
It was fun.
Oh, that is... Well, okay, then there you go.
They were having fun.
Which is always the point. It's all about adult play. Jared M. Snyder sends in a tip and says, Blue is full of sex, but there's a great story. This sounds like a bad story with bad sex. Are you talking about Blue is the Warmest Color? Or Blue, the Krzysztof Kieslowski film, like Red, Blue, White? Which I love.
Oh, I love those films.
I love them. I have them on Blu-ray. They're fantastic. But I love Blue is the Warmest Color, too. But you're right.
That's also a good film.
I mean, I don't think the sex in this movie was bad. You're eavesdropping on a husband and wife that clearly nobody's like
hurting each other. The sex is fine. It's not bad. It just doesn't really go. It's like inserted in the film. It's not.
Wait, it's what?
It's inserted.
It's inserted in the film.
It's inserted in the film.
Wow. Okay, I you know what? I'm just gonna let that lie. It was inserted into the film.
Inserted.
From behind?
Maybe.
Anyway, Mr. Tickle Trunk sends in a tip and says, oh, one of two. I wanted to see more of the aspects touched on with the kiss, where Tasia was inside a man. Me too.
Yes.
At that moment, you don't know if Tasia, gave the wrong kind of kiss. They were simply being too affectionate, or she felt Tasia's feminine energy. I agree. Yeah. I mean, that sex scene could have been a really weird gender bending thing, and it's and watching, if you're going to her head, she would have really been getting off being the man and
Yeah.
being the penetrator, and there that should have been a big.
It should have, and they don't go to this. They kind of flash back to her on that bed with the thing on her face, but you don't even see her like enjoying it or anything.
No, that should have been the scene. Like, I've got a dick. I have a dick. I know what it's like to feel a dick inside of
They should have shown, if you're gonna go there, show the climax and show her like.
Yeah, like
breathing on the table that she's laying on.
Yeah, I agree, and that would have been a really interesting thing. Like the turnabout is the whole point when you're possessing a man and having sex with a woman. You're feeling something, and she's a woman. She knows what it's like to be on the receiving end,
right? And
yet she's the person that's doing the
it'd be so amazing to like feel that other side.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like brainstorm shit. Yes. I agree, Jared.
Yeah.
Mr. Tickletrunk goes on to say, I wanted to see more of the aspects touched on with the kiss. I read that. I thought he said one of two. Liz had a point I pondered as well. During the oral sex scene, why didn't she notice the difference? The script says you have to be in someone for days for murder instead of seconds. Why not explore those things way more suspense? I agree. I mean, you have to be like if someone put me in the body of a woman, I'd spend the first day masturbating. I would be penetrating myself every way till Sunday, and then I would eat a lot and wear shoes.
Eat a lot? Women don't eat a lot.
No, they do.
They do?
They eat lots of stuff. So that's what I do. I would play with myself as a woman. I would eat food and I would have shoes. I'd wear shoes. I'd look at shoes and I'd wonder what's the fascination with shoes. I'd look into a closet. If I possessed a woman with 50 shoes, I'd wear all 50, and I'd be like, what's the deal with shoes?
Oh yeah.
Would you, as a man, would you think that was weird, or would you think, I get it? No, I know why you go the shoe route.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, but he doesn't go into any of that.
No, and that's problematic. I mean, I think that in this movie they could go because what you're doing. I joke about the masturbation thing. But if I was suddenly in the physical body of a woman, you'd want to explore,
because it's different than what you are, and so you'd want to experience. I would want to experience that.
Yes, and when I became a man again, I'd be better at what I could do.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, or I'd just relegate myself the fact that I wish I had a bigger penis. But either way, you're gaining information. Univex1 subscribe to this channel. Thank you, Univex. Boardwalk Throgpire. Wow, Boardwalk Throgpire. I get what he's doing there. I really didn't think this movie accomplished anything it wanted to accomplish effectively at all.
Yeah.
The violence is muddled by poor direction and plotting. Verhoeven made the violence in Showgirls at least plot-worthy. Movie felt at times nonsensical. I agree. And by the way, just so you guys know, I'm not excusing this choice. I hadn't seen it. I was excited to see it. I couldn't.
No, I think it's good that we watch movies.
It's something that was new and look, I think it's provocative enough. We've talked about it for almost 2 hours.
Whoa, dude.
So, yeah. So, but you're right, Boardwalk. You're right. Throg, you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you. Timbula Spider Monkey sends in a tip and says, I first saw Natural Born Killers in a hostel in Europe. Well, thank God you didn't see the movie Hostel in a hostel in Europe. Might have freaked you out. I was with a girl I just met that night. She tried to dive under the blanket I had on my lap. It was the most awkward and unsexy thing I've ever experienced. Good movie, though. Nothing that happens in Europe is unsexy. Come on. First of all, I just think about Timbula has an Australian accent. The Australian accent is like the nuclear weapon of picking up girls. There is nothing better. I've watched dudes, I've tried really hard. I've been in Australia and tried to meet a girl in a bar, and some guy walks up with an Australian accent and fucking devastates. Just takes her away. Just says, hey.
In Australia?
Yeah, that's how good the Australian accent in Australia. No, these are girls that are not Australian.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing. Everybody has that accent But in a bar situation,
Why were you trying to pick up girls that were not?
I'm not saying I was trying to pick them up. I was just trying to talk to people.
Oh.
And Australian dudes walk up and they're like, I was married at the time.
Oh, okay.
They just walk up and Australian dudes just lay down that, they whatever. Like they can say that, oh, it's nice outside. And right. It's nice outside. And then boom, the girl's like, oh my God, take me home.
It's like in Love Actually when the British guy comes
Colin.
to America.
Colin. When Colin comes.
I love that movie.
The table. Bottle. Bottle. Say bottle.
Bottle.
Table sounds the same. Bottle. I mean, is there any better scene in any movie than Colin coming to America? Oh my God.
So
my God.
It's so great.
So great. By the way, we're going to talk about it on this show.
Yeah, we are.
Mr. Tickle Trunk says, Liz, if you don't like the extreme take on the violence of the film, is there any way you can think might be done more tastefully to show someone losing their humanity? Either of you think there might be a better way that might not be more interesting or shocking? That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, of course there's a better way.
And what might that be?
I mean, if they had developed the characters a little more and you actually cared about these people, that alone would be helpful in that way. And also, like we were talking about the sex scenes, if you could show, the realization that you're in another body and you're experiencing things that are different, that would also help.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was a really interesting missed opportunity in that, they're vying for dominance. But what happens when you're a guy and you suddenly are in the body of a woman? I mean, I don't know how they would do that, but you're the one being penetrated.
Yeah.
And you could feel that, and how do you show that? I think that could have been really interesting. I mean, it wasn't.
And then the violent scenes, I mean, you don't have to focus in on the actual violence. Like you can show maybe just the hand coming down, or you don't have to go that far. Like, we have imaginations, we can figure it out.
Also, the extreme violence of Sean Bean, he's had this thing shoved down his throat. Like, how did it not go through his spinal column?
Exactly.
And you only see one. You see one image that he's still alive. Like.
How could he still be alive after that?
He has no right. That's what I would say.
I don't think that's.
Mr. Tickle Trunk. Wait, we already said what he said. Bitch, please, Throg says. You slurred there and said, "Who's about movies, Rob? I heard it. Not going to sell you out, Rob. They won't make me give them the sold out items I have. Here's to Peen." Thanks a lot, Throg. Selling me down the river.
I love it. Here's to Peen.
Here's to Peen. I've been here's to Peen for years. All right. Bitch, please, Throg. Tom Jr. Jackson sent in a super chat and said, "At least we weren't arguing over peen apples on pizza." I don't like peen apples on pizza.
You skipped one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That's 501 says, "Don't tell Mom the peen is dead." That wasn't there a minute ago.
It was there.
Was it?
You skipped over it.
Well, okay. 501, "Don't tell Mom the peen is dead." Then she'll go to the neighbor's house. Did I catch you on something? You're not telling me?
Right.
Just saying. Well, the guy next door is...
The guy next door over here is like 90.
What? Don't be ageist in this world. Come on now. And so Tom Jackson Jr. says, or Tom Jr. Jackson says, "At least we weren't arguing over the peen apples on pizza." Yeah, I don't like peen apples on pizza. It's not good. I do not want to eat peen apples on pizza.
Oh, man.
501 says, oh, wait. Italian Throg says, I'm Italian. I'm Italian, Liz. We have connections. Mr. Tickle Trunk, I'm Italian, which means I'm 5'3.5". Close. I'm not into domination, but I throw me around. I don't know what that says about me. Oh, well. I've got to throw more money at the shrink anyway. I'll throw my way. We'll be your shrink. It's all good. Frog, you're the best. Let's drink to Frog.
Here's the Frog.
Frog and his whole family. If he's Italian, let's drink to Frog's family. May your family have a great holiday season. I drink to you.
What's the saying? You're a friend of ours.
Yeah, you're a friend of ours. Frog, you're a friend of ours.
You're a friend of ours.
And you're a friend of mine, but you're a friend of ours. You're a friend of ours. He's a friend of ours.
He's a friend of ours.
Everyone knows. The Italians know what that means. You're a friend of ours.
You're a friend of ours.
Cheers to that. To Throg. I love that. Wait, one more time.
Liz is dead. Why am I dead? I'm alive.
Well, that, if we offended anybody in the Italian persuasion, maybe perhaps not.
They're friends of ours.
They're friends of ours. The Italians are friends of ours. They're friends of ours. That's right. We're the friends of theirs in Pasadena. It's the way it is. 501 says, this sounds way worse than Natural Born Killers. Well, to be honest, the actual portrayal of violence is actually worse. I mean, Natural Born Killers is really extreme, but it's not presented in the same way. It's not. But that's actually, that's definitely something to consider. Jared Snyder says, I first saw Natural Born Killers in the bar of the Olafson Hotel in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, with a man named Jolie Coeur, who was reputed to be an assassin and CIA agent. He laughed through the whole movie, but I was too scared to leave it till it was over. Well, Jared, you know what you told him? You told that assassin, you, sir, were a baller because you didn't flinch. He didn't know you were scared to death, but he respects you. Even now, he respects you. And if in some way, shape, or form he happens to be watching this broadcast,
yeah, right.
I want to drink to Jared. I want to say, you know what? Jared, you are a shot caller. You are a baller because you, my friend, did not back down. That's pretty good. What were you doing in Port-au-Prince? Boobies, tatas, bajumas. Bajumas? Boobies, tatas, bajumas. Rob, you're in the body of a woman and you sent going Tune in Tokyo yourself from the Val Kilmer classic, Real Genius. Come on, man. Boobs. The bigger the better. It's what you think about from 6 to 96. Sincerely, boobies galore, Throb. Look, man, I don't know what it gets me. I don't know what I don't.
What happens when you're 97?
When you're 97, someone has to put the boobies down on you because you can't get to them. You're like, ah.
Yeah, but you stop thinking about them at that point.
You never, ever, Throg doesn't know. He's not 97. You never stop thinking about the bazumbas, the bodacious tatas, as Keith David said, or not Keith David, David Keith said in Officer and a Gentleman. Big tits, round tits, fleshy tits. You love tits. It's great. They're life-giving. How can you not love them? They're life-giving. Boobies, tatas, bajooms. What is bajooms? I don't know what that means. Mr. Tickledrunk says, this one's for the peens out there.
Here's to the peens.
Here's to the peens out there. By the way, in this movie, I was a little. It was 90 degrees. It didn't go to 45 degrees. I'm like, would 90 degrees, if it went up to 45, was that too much? Because you cannot show erect penises in American film. You get an X rating.
But there were erect penises in this.
Canadian.
There were penises.
God love the Canadians.
God love the Canadians.
God love the Canadians.
Because they love peen.
The Canadians just love humanity. They love it all.
Rosemary's peen.
Yeah, look what that got her. The devil. Rosemary's peen was the devil's cock. That's what got her pregnant. We talked about that. Rosemary's peen was the devil's schlong. I think this show is gone on too long.
We've gone off the rails.
Have we? I think so.
Boobies make me smile.
In case anyone was wondering what this show is actually about, allow me to show you. This show was about Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor, uncut. There you go.
There you go.
And perhaps you should watch this show. I think we have a great bunch of folks here. Let's drink to the Post-Geek Singularity community. Here's to all of you fans. This is the 103rd episode of this show.
Yep.
Well, why are you laughing? I mean, this is fun. I made this show up. I came up with this idea for you, babe.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at all the peen jokes.
Yeah, you've been laughing at my peen for 5 years. What little you see of it.
I have not laughed at your peen.
Well, I laugh at it.
Stop.
Anyway, so I'm just saying that I was trying to make a toast to our loyal audience.
I'm sorry you asked me why I was laughing.
Okay, well, I just want to say I want to drink a toast to you guys, girls, gentle beings, whoever you identify with, however you identify, across the 28 known galaxies. Thank you for being here and being part of over 100 episodes of whatever kind of show this is. I just thank you all.
This is a show about wine.
It is a show about wine, but it's a show about film. It's about cinema. It's about all of it. All of it. Huh? Eric Gant. My man Eric Gant. Eric Gant says, what movie did y'all watch? Eric, I love you. I'm just tuning in and it feels like I'm walking in on the tail end of an exceptionally weird orgy. You're not wrong, my friend. And by the way, if you walk in on an exceptionally weird orgy, is that a bad thing? Come on now. It's not like it's Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. It's my happening and it's... Remember that?
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Remember that?
So bad. It was so bad.
Wow, you have to like diss on... What, really?
It was so bad.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. You're still... Roger Ebert is dead, and you are still besmirching his memory.
Yeah, it made my opinion of him like...
Wow, man.
I can't believe he wrote that crap.
You know what? We're supposed to be objective. You can't just dismiss movies and call them crap.
We talked about it. I didn't just dismiss it.
But even films that you might not like, you got to at least like don't let like.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on, man. We're here to. It's all.
It was
work.
a silly
it's all
film.
Work. Yes,
It was silly.
at least appreciate the man is dead. He wrote one screenplay.
I loved him. I thought he was a great critic.
And
I don't
it's his
think
happening, and he
was
freaked
not
you out.
a good. He was not a good film writer. I'm sorry.
Okay. Eric, I have to say that...
Did you tell Eric what we watched?
No, I'd rather have him think he just walked in on an orgy. I think that's better. Eric's like, what? Where can I go now? Where, and no. Eric, we were just watching... we were watching Possessor Uncut.
Yes.
Timbula, the spider monkey, says... No one said Invasion of the Peen Snatchers yet.
That's great.
Putting peen and snatchers together? Genius. Genius to you, sir.
Genius.
Let's hear it for Throg. Oh, that's Timbula. That's Tim. Pardon me. Throg's up. Society Throg's above. If the orgy is in the film society, that's bad. Yeah, because then you get celluloid wrapped all around you. It's not good. Like Timbula said, if you're an alien when you're snatching the peen, like it's more methodical. And by the way, when you say that Invasion of the Peen Snatchers, there's a reason it started in that libtard city. That libtard city of San Francisco. I'm kidding. I'm a liberal myself. I'm just making a joke. Raygun Media. Oh, look who's here. Raygun Media is here. By the way, Raygun Media does all the great overlays for Let's Get Physical Media, if you haven't watched that show. And I want to thank him for that. Raygun Media says, Natural Born Killers is a cartoon compared to Possessor. Please review Peen Wolf 2. Cheers. Peen Wolf 2. Oh boy. Oh, come on now. Uh-oh.
The peen.
No.
Peen is evil.
The peen is not. Okay. So for those of you who are wondering what this is Herman McKink's 1/6 scale rocking machine. It is a woman's ass, and it is a peen, and it's on one thing. And Kubrick saw this. This was an actual sculpture in a gallery that Herman McKink made.
McKink.
That's it, Herman McKink. And it was in Clockwork Orange.
It's a peen, and the peen is evil.
Why don't you tell people that I have a full-scale version of that?
Yeah, and my mom was so mad when she saw it.
Her beautiful French mother, sweet as she was. And there's a weight in it, so it goes.
Yeah. I made you put it in the attic. I was like, "Get this out of here." My mom hates it.
She did. I had to take it away. I was like, if I knew your mom was coming, I would have perhaps put it away. But what are you gonna do? So anyway, this show has now gone on for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's time to end?
I do. I can't believe we talked for 2 hours about this film.
I do. And now the time has come, babe. We're down to the bottoms up scale of movies.
Yes.
So on a bottom, what is the bottoms up scale?
The bottoms up scale is from 1 to 4 glasses because there are 4 glasses in a bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
You have, what would you give Possessor?
Oh man, this is hard.
Well, apparently it was hard, like the peen in the movie. I mean, you see it on screen, it's pulsating.
The premise was good, he just wasn't developed. It was weird, and
but it left an impression.
It did, and we had a great laughing moment with the peens. Lots of peens. I'm gonna give this. Well, what do you give it?
Do.
What do you give it?
I give this 3 glasses of wine.
3?
Yeah, you know why? Because
what the hell?
I'll tell you why.
I was debating between 2 and 1.75.
I'm gonna give it 3. Well, you can give it that. I give it 3 because it aspires to something.
But it did not achieve.
No, it didn't. But I was thoroughly entertained, and I watching it, and I'm now that I'm pondering the meaning of erect peen and broken teeth. I think this movie has left an indelible mark on my soul.
But the peen didn't break the teeth.
Well, does any peen break any teeth? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I think this movie leaves an impression. I think this conversation proves that we've pondered this film, so it might not be entirely successful, but I would say that any fan of science fiction, fantasy, or horror might enjoy the experience of watching the film.
I mean, I love the premise. I just wish it had been developed better.
That's my criticism.
Less violence and make the sex scenes make sense.
I wouldn't say necessarily less violence. I would say tie it all together.
Less violence. You didn't need all that violence. You can imply that kind of.
Yeah, but the violence.
You can imply that kind of violence, like that intense violence. You can imply that, but you don't have to show that.
But the violence. Yes, I agree. But the violence should mean something.
It should mean something.
And I felt it was voyeuristic for voyeuristic's sake. It wasn't.
I think it turns him on. That's why he did it.
Yeah, but no, because making movies is so hard. Like, it might have taken hours to do those shots.
But why? Why do those shots?
Well, to elicit, like, when you're doing a shot on a set, it's not like watching it.
Nope.
All right, well, Brandon Cronenberg apparently is going to hear from you.
Well, I hope he doesn't watch the show.
I can assure you he doesn't. But does anyone? The real question.
55 people do.
There you go. So why don't we end the show?
Well, I'm going to give it 2 glasses.
I give it 3. She gives it 2 on the bottoms up scale. We need to come up with a chart. But anyway, I want to thank everybody. We're going into the holiday season. Elysabeth's whining about movies is going to be all about holiday movies from now on.
Except for Tenet.
Yeah, we're going to watch Tenet whenever I get it. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it on Tuesday and we'll watch it Tuesday night. I would assume it would be Thursday, though. But on Tuesday, let's call it. We are going to watch what holiday movie that we said? The Christmas Story.
What? You said Die Hard.
That's what I said. We're watching Die Hard. That's all. You remembered.
Die Hard.
Okay. Tuesday, we are watching Die Hard. Not Die Harder with a Vengeance. We're watching not Die Hard, Die Harder. We're watching Die Hard, the greatest Christmas movie ever made. Die Hard on Tuesday. That's what we're watching. We're not going to postpone it. Die Hard on Tuesday.
Die Hard on Tuesday.
And then maybe Tenet on Thursday, and then more holiday movies.
Yeah. Christmas Story.
We're going to watch Love Actually. We're going to watch Christmas Story. We're going to watch The Holiday. We got to watch The Holiday.
The Holiday. I love The Holiday.
I love The Holiday too. Maybe Reindeer Games.
I have not seen that.
I know it's not exactly a holiday movie, but it is a holiday movie. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I want to thank my moderating staff, our moderating staff. I want to thank the Richard. You can always find the Richard on the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page or the WINEning About Movies Facebook page. I want to thank him for being here, and I want to thank him for showing the movies that he shows. I don't see anyone else.
Yeah,
I think it's just the Richard.
What is it? Go down.
What? MC Black
Cap.
Is he here?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay.
Further down.
No, I think we're down at the no, this is the end.
It's not the end.
It is the end. That's the end.
Oh, go up. Right there.
Oh, well, MC Blackcap is here. Thank you too, sir. I was looking for you. But thank you. My moderating staff is tremendous. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And there will be another episode. We're catching up on Let's Get Physical Media with Dieter Bastian from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. I guess we've got episode 5 and 6 in the bag. 5 will drop tomorrow. Amazing. Episode 4 dropped today.
Do you guys talk about peeing as much as we do?
No. When guys get together, they don't. When you're talking about peeing together, it's you either want to do it or you don't. So most of the time, Dieter and I are not talking about peeing. We're talking about movies and our 4K collections, like Possessor, uncut on 4K, which I talked about today. That's what we talk about. So, why do you think that when I talk to people from Germany, I just talk about peeing? Is that what I talk?
I don't know.
Okay,
maybe.
No, I assure you, Dieter and I are big geeks. We don't talk about anything other than
movies.
Our discs. Yes,
your discs.
Our discs. We can talk about other things. We talk about our discs.
All right, I think we should end this show.
All right then, this show is ending. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gentle beings from across the 28 known galaxies, thank you for being here for Liz Views episode 103. Would you like to say something? It's your show.
Have a better night.
Have a butter knife. And we will see you soon. Tuesday, we're watching Die Hard.